Good day. Welcome to another lesson on how to develop your business plan. Today, the lesson will be on global or industry analysis. Industry analysis is when you look at the industry that you are operating within and understanding the demand and supply. So, different industries operate differently, and the demand and the supply cycles are not the same. So as an entrepreneur, you need to understand your sector. You need to understand the industry that you are operating within in terms of demand and supply. In terms of demand, you need to understand who are your customers. You need to know your customers. And then how do they demand the product? Some industries are cyclical. You find that in certain seasons, the demand is high. In certain seasons, the demand is low. And you find that in terms of the demand, your product are demanded in certain areas during certain period of time. So you need to understand the demand. The demand, they call it demand curve. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. So if you don't understand the industry that you're operating within, you might overestimate or underestimate the demand of that industry. And on the supply side, you need to look at, because those are mostly your competitors, who is supplying the same product that you are supplying, or who's supplying you with the raw material. So in terms of the supply side, you need to understand sometimes you need raw material to produce the product that you are servicing or you are providing. So you need to understand the suppliers. Where are they sourcing the product, and when is the product available, so that you can make informed buying decision. And in terms of the competitors, how are they supplying the product? When is the supply high, or when is the supply low? Because there are two things that you need to make sure that you understand in the sector that you operate. There is demand and there's supply. How many organizations or institutions are supplying the same product that you are supplying? So you need to understand that, so that you will be able to strategize and develop proper strategies in terms of how you're going to operate as a business. Because without you understanding the industry in terms of the demand and the supply, and who's supplying, who are the players who are supplying the product, and who are the customers, then that will impact on how you strategize, how you develop your business plan. So that's the very important thing, that you need to understand the industry that you're operating in. And you need to understand the consumption. What are the quantities? What are the numbers that are consumed in this industry? Or what are the quantities that are supplied into this industry? So that you can plan your operation in terms of the size. How big do you want your organization to be? Because sometimes if you don't understand the demand and supply of your sector, you might over budget, or maybe under budget in terms of the capex that you need to put in, or the required investment that you need to put into your operation. So understanding the industry that you are operating in is very, very important. Basically, how you start by understanding the industry, you need to start by analyzing the global industry, the demand and supply in the industry, the type of people who are consuming the product, type of people or type of institution that are supplying that product on the global level. Once you understand the global level in terms of the demand and the supply of your product, then you look at your continent. Who are the players in that continent? How is the demand? How is the supply in your continent? So that you can know where you can pitch your business, or if you should do your business at all. Then after you've analyzed the demand and supply and the players within the continent in terms of quantities that are supplied and quantities that are demanded in that continent, then you come to your country. You look at the country in terms of the suppliers. Who are the suppliers within the country that you are operating from? So in this case, it will be South Africa. Who are the players in the space? Who are the customers? The lifestyle. How are they buying? The demand, the fluctuation. When do they buy the product? And then when is the supply? Do you have to import it from other countries, or is the supply of the product manufactured or developed within the country? Is the demand within the country, or the demand is outside the country. So you analyze your country to know in terms of how you set up your operations. After you analyze the country, you know the country dynamics of your sector and the industry in terms of how it operates, in terms of demand and supply, and the players and who's consuming the product. Then you drill down to the province that you are based. If you are based nationally, then your analysis will end at a country level. But if you are operating within the province, then you look at your provincial structure of that specific industry. Is the province have enough demand, or do you have to sell to other provinces? Is there enough supply within that province that you are operating in? Who is the product consumed in the province that you are operating, or do you have to supply it outside? Because you need to think about those things, because if your product, for argument's sake, is consumed outside the province, you need to understand the logistics of it. It will involve you transporting it and building relationship outside the country, the province. And then if the supply of raw material or the inputs are not within the province that you're operating within, then you need to take into account the logistics and the supply chain of bringing the raw materials that you are using into the province that you are operating in. So look at the province that you're operating in, and after looking at the province, then you go to the district. You do the similar analysis of the district. Who are the players in the district? Availability of inputs, of raw material. The demand. Are you going to sell within the district that you are operating within? Then you do the same analysis. Now you look at the municipality that you are operating within. Same thing. You look at the demand within that municipality. Who are the players in this municipality? The competition, the customers, are the product consumed in this municipality that I'm operating in. So those are the things that you look at when you're doing your industry analysis. And then if you are selling at an individual level, then you can look at physically the area that you are operating within, or the location that you are operating, or the suburb that you are operating within. So it depends on the product. But if you are supplying within maybe your operations are all over the country, then you limit your industrial analysis to the country. But if you are supplying and the demand is within the municipality, you drill down to the municipality. So in summary, when you're looking at your industry analysis, you analyze it you take it from the global perspective. Where is this industry going? Who's the players? Who are the players in the industry? Is the industry growing? Is the industry not doing well? Then you look at the continent. How is the continent that you are in doing? Then you look at the country. After you've looked at the country, you look at if your supply, it depends on the product. If your product you're supplying within a province, then you look at the province, but you analyze the same dynamics. You look at the dynamics, you look at the growth of the product and services that you are supplying in that province, if you are supplying provincially. Or if you are supplying within the municipality, you look at the municipality, you analyze that so that you set an appropriate operation one, and you decide in terms of the competition if you will be able to compete within that sector, and you look if there's sufficient demand to support your operation, and also you look at the supply. Will you be able to get enough raw material to support your operation? So now that is the industry analysis. You need to make sure that you understand the industry that you're operating within and do the proper analysis so that you do proper planning. Because if you go into an industry that you don't understand and you don't do proper analysis, that might be a recipe for disaster. So as an entrepreneur, you need to be able to understand the industry analysis, understand where you are based, understand the dynamics of where you're operating from, and so that it will allow you, if you understand the industry, you'll know who your competitors are. And in terms of, as well, understanding where you're going to source the inputs. It can be raw material, it can be labor, whatever the inputs that your operation needs. Is it available in the area that you're operating from? So the supply of the inputs, will you be able to source the inputs? Are you closer to the inputs? And in terms of the demand, Where is the demand? Is the demand local? Are you going to supply the local? And when is the demand? When is the peak? The demand, is it growing over the years? So you need to understand the industry that you're operating in so that you can build a successful business and you can develop a viable business plan. Okay, now we're going to go into the case study, the case studies that we are using for our business plan development, which is the McDonald's, is AEY, and then is the Auckland A's. So just listen to their case studies in terms of how they approach the industry studies, and there are certain lessons that you can learn from these videos. Enjoy.
Industry analysis. Industry analysis is about identifying opportunities that you can explore and finding ways to mitigate the related risks. Industry analysis gives industry understanding and assists you to develop strategies on how to be competitive. When analyzing your industry, you look at size, growth, and stability, market share of competitors, limitations, change in the industry, cost of operating in the industry, and prices. We use Pastel, SWOT, and Porter's 5 to analyze sectors. These will be explained in detail in this section.
McDonald's is a fast food industry, but its main business model is owning the property that franchisees are operating from and the system the franchisees use. The industry is big and highly competitive. McDonald's success can be attributable to its strong brand and good customers.
AEY is in tendering. It bids for advertised contracts. AEY identified the defense industry as its market segment. It is only bidding for defense contracts. The U.S. Defense Department opened up the defense sector for small players, and AEY joined the gold rush. Tendering industry is high risk because it is highly competitive with zero barrier for entry.
The A's are in the entertainment industry. Baseball. Running a club is capitally intensive, and this creates a barrier to entry. While it requires serious capital investment, it is not one of the more highly profitable sectors. Most people go into sports as owners because of passion for the sport and for branding rather than profit making. Complete the assignment. Compare how the topic is addressed in the three movies and rank them according to your preference on how the characters and the organizations dealt with the topic and motivate your ranking, 1 being the best and 3 the worst. Analyze this topic and its applicability to your situation and industry. Write up your analysis to meet the requirement of the industry you're operating in. Update the relevant section in your business plan.